Alright folks, we're continuing our multi-unboxing. I got pulled out 3 things out of this box so far, so let's go ahead and pull something else out. And it's time for another power supply. Alright, get that box out of the way. So, what do we have here, folks? Put it on the right side. This is another Apevia power supply, Captain Power Series. This should be 470 watts, I believe. There's a picture of the connectors, in case I somehow fail to discuss those. There's the actual part number, Captain 470 watt, or 470W. There's a little information on the back of it for y'all. I think this all has the same connectors regardless of whether it's 470 or 520. Alright, so let's go ahead and get it open. And now, I'm not, if you know, you've seen the channel, not a huge Apevia fan. I love my EVGA. Starting to warm up on these guys because so far we have not had any negatives, serious negatives. There are a lot of things I could complain about, but if you read the description what you're buying, you know what you're buying, so therefore those things that I would complain about, I can't really complain about. So let's just pull some things out. So there's your power cable. This is looks to be a short one, about 3 foot. I don't actually see mounting hardware. Oh, there it is. So there's your 4 screws, black, which actually match the case. Sometimes these don't match, and that's not such a great thing. Okay, get that box out of the way. So I think this is probably my 5th or 6th Apevia power supply, and you know, usually I complain about how the structure itself feels kind of cheap. You can kind of see there compared to EVGA. There was a recent one I just did, the Warrior 680 watts modular. That thing was pretty freaking awesome. So if you you know, need a modular one, I say give them a try. Alright, so there's the same thing that was on the box. This is this one's a single fan, so we've also looked at the Venus, which is a dual fan. And this is, you know, relatively stable. Not used to this, but these or I've never noticed really. You could easily take these off to get to the fan if you needed to. Dual voltage, okay. And there's an on-off switch there. Obviously, your plug is going to plug in there. Let's check out the cables that came with it. And you know, I never feel like their cables are as good as EVGA's. But like I said, so far, knock on wood, they have not failed me. All right, so here's your 24 or 20 plus 4 connector for the motherboard power. So this would pop off, and you'd have 20 if that's where your setup is. Now this one is this is a lot better for people that are doing full ATX boards, because this actually has 2 4-pin CPU connectors, and right now as they stand, they are set for 8-pin, so you won't even have to put them back together again. But this is definitely a plus for this motherboard. Now, negatives of this motherboard: 470 watts. You're going to find a lot of video cards that require more than that. But here's, you know, the other negative about this one: there is no GPU connector on it. So if you get something like this, you're basically building a these are all tangled up. you're basically building something that you can't go beyond, say, a GTX 1050. I think there's a 1650 out there that doesn't have a 6 or 8 pin power connector, GPU connector. What else? Some OEM versions, RX 560 and the 460 and the 560 Bravo and the 550, I believe, that don't require that. There's also a GTX 1030. No, yeah, 1030 and a GTX 1060 3 gigabyte, which is probably the best GPU you're going to be able to use with something like this. That's the OEM version that you would find in an HP or a Dell. Not probably not the one you're going to get off the shelf, which I believe has a requirement for 6 or 8 pins. So getting back to connectors, two SATA power MOLED on here. And one thing I always complain about with the Apevia is too many MOLEDs. I don't really own anything that requires that. 2 MOLEDs here, another SATA, and for a fan. Now, good thing about these MOLEDs, these could be converted to a. If you buy the connector, you can turn 2 of these into a 6 or 8 pin GPU connector. So that's something to think about. Of course, if you're going to find one that's got 6 plus 8, so you 2 connectors on your graphics card, this is probably not going to be enough power for it. So keep that in mind. So if you buy this, realize you're not going to be able to get the best graphics card in the future for it. You've kind of flatlined yourself, right? But overall, it looks to be a decent power supply. I eventually will do another video where we power it up, and I'll let you know how it goes, how it sounds, if it seems loud, and all that good stuff. So thanks for checking out the video. Check out that link below when I do get around to actually installing it. Thank you.